What's up, guys? What is up? Welcome back to another episode of Deck Talk Podcast, and we've got one unique episode going to be happening tonight. But first off, we got some business to be taken care of, guys. If you are looking for some soft plastic baits that is going to last and that you can catch multiple fish on and fish with them all day long, you're going to need to be looking at bruiser baits. Pappy and I've been using bruiser baits for a while now, and we have been stroking some fish here on Chickamauga and Nickajack. And of course, they're down in Florida, so you know they're going to be Florida raised fish, going to be chomping on them as well, guys. But guys, make sure you go check out the color Chick Magnet. You can put it in any kind of soft plastic that you are wanting, and that is the color that we designed, and you're going to love it. We have caught a bunch of fish off of that color from Tennessee all the way down to Florida. But guys, make sure you go to bruiserbaits.com, use the discount code DECKTALK10 and get you some bruiser baits and bring in your PBs, guys. With that being said, I'm Colin Burnett.
Pastor J, baby, here we go. Hey, today's we're honoring the American hero. It is Shannon Gleason, United States Marine Corps. He served from 87 to 89. His MOS was a 2531 field radio operator. And I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, they are important. All right. He was attached to the 2nd and 3rd Marine Division Headquarters Battalion Command Company. He was with 29 Palms. I've heard a lot about 29 Palms, stationed at Okinawa, Japan, at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, and he went to Korea for Operation Bear Hunt. So again, we thank you, Shannon Gleason, for all that you've done, buddy. And we just continue. Don't forget, send us some emails of your hero that you have, and we will blast them out, baby. Let's get it out there.
Yeah, that's again what we say this every week, guys. Man, we could not be doing what we're doing if it was not for our heroes. So again, if you have served or you know somebody that has served, if you will reach out to us and we will do salute them, and because again we love them guys, and Pappy, thank you for doing this, brother. But let's get to the show. Again, like I told you guys, this is going to be, we're going to be talking a little bit of fishing, but this is going to kind of be a little bit different than what is normal. But I think it's going to be one heck of a show. And again, it is an interactive podcast, guys. Do what?
I said, I'm excited. Well, he's already told us. I'm excited, buddy.
So, but guys, it is an interactive podcast. So make sure that if you have any questions, to leave your comments in wherever platform that you are on, and we will try to get to them, and we will ask. But with that being said, we got Mike Whitaker from Lake and Bay Boats. Mike, man, thank you so much for coming on, especially with a little bit of short notice. So, but thank you, brother, for coming on, and we're excited to have you on, brother.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
So without further delay, let's just jump into these boats that we've been talking about. The 25 series, 24 with the 500 and the 400. Let's get all up in this and right here.
Yeah, we basically
ready for
it?
Yeah.
We basically built 8 models. Our newest model is a 25 Open that we came out with recently here, and the 24, the 22 bays, and we have a 21 Boca, and then we have the 20 Boca Grand flagship. It's been around the longest. It's the boat that kind of started it all for us. And then we have a 20 Backwater, which was a boat that came in at about 04 or 05. And then we have a couple of 17 and a half footers. They're basically closer to 18 foot, but we have a Predator and a Palm Beach. the Palm Beach is like a chopped off version of the 20. And so we have 8 models. They're all custom built. No boats really identically built the same. They're all different. So custom ordered.
So walk us through the process. I know. We got some pictures of the mad scientist that you are on these on how to seal them. Just kind of walk us through how you do that.
Well, all the boats are infused with our formulated epoxy that we use, and we infuse every single part of the boat pretty much, except for an assembly process where we're putting the stringers and the deck and stuff and tying it all together. We infuse. What I mean by infusion is we spray the color in the mold first, and then we inject the we lay all the material in dry, and then we inject it with the epoxy after all our laminates are put in. We put a bag over it, and then we infuse it by transferring the air out and the liquid in. And what it does is it gives us a tight laminate where you can achieve closer to a like a 60-40 glass to epoxy ratio. It's very hard to get when you hand lay, although hand laying is a good way of building the boats, but the infusion process lets you get lighter. There's no secondary bonding issues. All the laminates are put in one shot, and you get one solid piece when it comes out. We foam core all the boats with a double cut foam core. There's different densities in foam that are put in different areas of the boat. Like for instance, where you're going to put the trolling motor, you would have a higher density foam. Transom's a higher density foam, thicker, and there's different thicknesses too. The running surface of the pad, we call it, down the surface is a higher density foam, and running surface versus the sides of the boat. The cockpit area where you're standing is a higher density and thicker foam. We use a 3/4 inch foam there, and then a 1/2 inch on the upper deck and rear upper deck of the boats. Um, and so it makes it light, strong. It holds together well. The boats, the layup, you can't achieve that doing it by hand. There's less mess in the shop. The guys don't have to wear Tyvek suits. It's almost like a doctor's office. You can eat off the floor. I mean, it's very, very clean shop. The guys love it. It's less emissions, safer on the guys. There's no smell. It's just a very clean way of building. And we went into it because we believe it was the future of the way to build the boats. And there's some learning curves when you get into some of that stuff. So it wasn't a perfect world the first couple of attempts, but after we had some help and some teachers teach us how to do it and get it done right, and now everybody is on board with it and everybody loves it. We've been doing it for about 5 years. So
Now, didn't you say earlier that you guys can't run radios or anything that's real loud because you got to hear a certain sound, right?
yeah, we have in the shop that we build. It's a climate controlled area.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just showing the pictures of it. Sorry.
Sound in there so that way we can hear if there's any leaks in the bag. And we have we have gauges, multiple gauges on the bags to show where the vacuum is at all times. We monitor that, and we put gauges farthest apart from one another so we know that we're getting a solid pull across the whole entire piece. And then we calculate up the square footage and how we mix up the material so we don't waste any material. And that's another thing. There's less waste in this build process too. There's less sandpaper, less grinding, less dust. It's just a very clean way of building.
Man, that is awesome.
Now,
Hey,
how
Colin, do you got the picture of his of the boat that's in the shop, so we can kind of give them a little bit of a diagram of what he's talking about?
I have to let me do.
Now, what size air tanks do you guys use by whenever you're sealing, or I guess sealing it, right?
Well, it's a vacuum system, so it runs on a pressure pot that's actually a vacuum pot, and
Okay.
we run catch cans, and we have like muffler boxes that catch any fumes that come through. You don't want the fumes or the kind of particles, air particles going through the
Hmm.
pumps, and then it'll get resin or epoxy in those pumps. You have to rebuild them. The pumps are really tough, and a lot of hoses, a lot of valves, and it looks like a science project going on.
It truly does. I was
Yeah,
kind of
hold on.
mesmerized.
I'm about to pop this sucker up. And when
So with
let's
that,
see.
with everything that you have just told us, how much weight just the boat it alone? That's not jack plate, trolling motor, any kind of electronics, just the hull itself. What kind of weight are we running?
We can get them down. I mean, here in the picture, that was a 320-pound boat, all out of carbon fiber, all epoxy infused. The 17, of course, is lighter than the 20. The 20, we can get them down to about 750. You can actually go light you really want to go or need to go, and it'll still be strong enough to stay together. It's actually um, pretty scary how light you can build them. But
Right.
when you get to a certain point of weight, it's too light, and you need that weight. The boat becomes tippy. It becomes more like a bobber effect. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so you need the weight. Plus, with the heavier engines, you're putting that like the 450s in the 700-pound range. Your 300Rs and stuff like that. The 250s are 515-pound range. When you go with a 700 pound motor, the boat weighing 700 pounds, it affects it a lot more.
Right.
So definitely the longer boat helps with that. The 21 we came out with helped with some of that, with the 450s and the 500s. The bay boats really where the 450 and 500 belong, but the guys are wanting to put 450s and 500s on the 20s and go 115 plus miles an hour. We'll build it.
No, thank you.
Now,
No, thank you.
what's the fastest that you have gone in a boat?
Well, I mean, I've been in a couple of offshore boats riding with some friends that wanted me to go with them and test, and been in the 150 plus range on some skater boats. A couple of friends of mine in Miami that were racing offshore series years ago. I got a chance to ride with them. So never been that fast before, and haven't been that fast since in a boat. Um, but our boats, of course, we're not running the speeds that some of these other boats are running, but um, we're pure. It's a hardcore fishing boat.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Some of the guys in the Keys, man, there's some guys down there that I call them the hot rodders that buy the boats. They don't really care to fish that much. They won't put trolling motors on them. They'll put a nice sound system in it and a big motor on the back and a real clean boat. Not a lot of accessories bolted to the deck. No holes drilled everywhere. And those guys are flying, man. They're running speeds that I watch them and I'm like, man, this is insane. Um, but
That-
we still test. I don't test like those guys. Those are kind of our test guys down there. They run the heck out of them, and we test here, but not pushing them to where I don't want to wear it.
So
right.
those are
Yeah.
your adrenaline junkies, right?
Oh yeah, those guys are hardcore. I fish, so and I still like to go fast in them, but not like they're doing. They're running. They're pushing them. They're putting $5,000 props on them, and they're doing a lot of work to the boat to get it there. There's a lot of mods coming out for the four strokes now, and I'm seeing these speeds just keep going up and up and up. I mean, but that's with everything. I mean, the four strokes are developing more now with some aftermarket parts and pieces. Some of the guys are getting into making lightweight flywheels, titanium valves, titanium keepers. They're playing with the cams, the computer systems on the motors, and they're just the sky's the limit. They're going to be able to squeeze, I don't know, 600-700 horsepower out of those 450s probably.
So let me ask you this: with as a boat producer, what do you like, the two strokes or the four strokes better, or is it kind of about the same? Or
Well, I mean, I love the sound of the two strokes. I mean, it's just a killer
yeah,
sound. And I mean, the future is definitely going to be four strokes, and we're in this to sell and of course make money, and sell products that are current. The two strokes are, um, I mean, they're going away. I mean,
yeah,
we ran a couple of drag races with the SODA group, the Southern Outlaw Drag Boat Association, and I was like the only four stroke that showed up. They created a class for us, kind of a fishing class, fishing boat class. I entered in multiple classes. The two strokes definitely were quicker than us out of the hole. The four strokes would pull in the bottom end, but the two strokes, I mean, they're still dominating that until they get into um, putting up a purse higher for the four strokes and fizzling out the two strokes. You hate to see them go, but it's the future. It's kind of
yeah,
inevitable. It's got to happen.
But
Um,
yeah.
But there's no better sound when you're out on the water and you hear one of them two-stroke Mercuries crank up. That's probably the best sound out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
That thing just sitting over there talking.
Yeah, Mercury Racing developed. I mean, they've developed some new stuff too that's just coming out. The 15-inch mid for the new 300R, and they're hopefully they get into doing a 250 15-inch also for the high performance bass boats and high performance flats boats and stuff like that, like they did for the two strokes. They did a lot with the two strokes that I hope they're going to start doing more with the fours and like they did for the twos to help these builders out too, because that's something else too. We build boats and when the motors change, you have to. It's really hard on the builder because you have to adapt. Some of your boats you built before, your molds, you're kind of have to push them aside and create new molds to adapt to the new weight of the new engines and the way they run. I've
Yeah,
seen.
that was going to be my one of my questions is like
Yeah, yeah.
how do you like do you like with the weight of the motors and stuff like that, um like how are you having to the on the stern to be able uh to hold that weight? I know because like with bass boats and something like that, I know that some of them you can only put a certain amount of motor uh, on that on the back of the boat. So how are you having to change the thickness and stuff on it? Or are you trying or having to change uh, the whole hull in itself for these bigger motors?
Yeah, we have to make some changes, especially with the 450s. We slide the gas tank further forward. We try to get more weight out of the rear and move things further up. The console, like our boat's not production, so it'll production oriented. So the mold's not marked in places where everything has to go. We can move stuff around. So like if you get somebody who's tall and wants more leg room, we can slide the console further forward. We do that with the 450. So we slide the weight a little bit more forward. It helps a lot. And then when the boat's getting rigged, we try to do a closer to the transom jack plate, so a smaller setback on the jack plates.
Right.
We also the rigging in the boat, we try to get as much in the front as we can to offset it. There's only so much you can do on a 20-foot boat to do that. That's why a lot of builders don't put the 450s and 500s on. They weigh so much.
Right. Now, because I thought like, and this I may be way off, but because like with bass and MLF and stuff, like they can only go to a 250. And so I thought that's the only reason why, like every now and then you'll see somebody that has a 300 on it. But like if you're fishing them big tournament trails, that all they can have is a 250 on it. Um, so that's why when you're over here talking 450s, 500Rs, and I'm over here, it's just kind of dumbfounded.
Yeah, I mean the 450s and 500s definitely are not what we sell the most of on the 20s and 21s. The 250s, we've been doing a lot more 250s because of BASS and MLF. Um,
Right.
there's several, like that boat you flashed up earlier. That was one of the MLF guys fishing the Pro Tour, and anyhow, the 250s have been coming on a lot better as bass. Not that one. I think it's the one before that. But yeah, there it is. So that was during the MLF tournament down in Okeechobee. That was actually Val. Um, but we're getting a lot more of those that we're doing now, and in doing the forward facing sonar, better chairs in the front for them to sit on or lean against, and then better seating in the rear too. So more bass fishermen are starting to buy the Boca 20, and they've been buying them for years, but we're starting to get more and more of that, and seeing a lot more of them come out with the forward sonar on them too. So it's going to be a bass fish boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. I mean, I know we had touched on it a little bit earlier, but about your boats, you said you had some series that actually the deck is elevated just for specifically. I guess it would be bass fishermen, or I guess it could go either way. I mean, whatever. But and that's what I was saying. I like the center console effect, but with an elevated deck. I mean, I really like that option uh, that you guys got.
Yeah, we have. all the like the 22, the 24, the 21, and the 20s and 17s, all the decks on the front, they're like the boat behind me there. And those decks are up. And for red fishing guys, they're just like bass guys. I mean, it's just very similar,
Right.
so it's a very similar type of fishing setup. And I don't think the redfish stuff is regulated on horsepower like bass is.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, that's pretty. It's starting to become more popular. The bass, the redfish side of it, we're still building a lot of boats for the redfish and saltwater guys, but you wouldn't believe how many do both. I do both. A lot of our customers are doing both, and and they just don't want to have multiple boats, and then a lot of them don't want the carpet, so they'll
Well,
come. That's when they come to us.
and that's something else that's unique about your boats is it's very universal. You know,
Yeah.
so
Well, look at
you
this. This
can.
is the one. This is the one that kind of blew my mind right here, Pappy.
Oh
What
yeah, that right there astonishes me. I mean, only the prop,
that was on
just
the
or the
redfish.
lower unit. The lower unit, there's no boat touching the water.
That was one of the redfish boats. You can see the casting platform on the bow there that they use, and then
Yeah.
with the trolling motors actually on the back. We installed these pucks on the front and installed them in the back. So the trolling motors, what I was telling you guys before is we're having problems keeping stuff on the boat, like trolling motors breaking off, and the bolts we're having to change and go to higher dense or grade bolts and stuff to keep the stuff on. Because once you start getting into that 80 plus mile an hour range across all the chop and the beating that they the boat can handle, but the accessories, some of these trolling motors would fly off the front and end up hitting guys. And so we mounted the trolling motors on the back on the quick disconnect puck, the same one that's on the front, and it was just a plug, and they would move it from front to back when they were going to make long runs, especially the redfish guys. Those guys were extreme. They would run from Pensacola to Mobile on the outside and in the surf and stuff. And so when you're you know going through that terrain, I mean the parts and pieces are hard to keep on the boat. We 5200 everything down, and there's only so much you can do to tighten it. But we're tournament guys. You're carrying toolboxes trying to keep everything on the boat.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's
That I mean,
crazy,
to
man.
me, um, I I think it. I mean, I was telling you earlier that I had a buddy of mine that had a bullet, and he had about 3 to 4 inches in the of his boat in the water, and it was almost like you just said, "Hold my beer, watch this," and you send me this picture where just the lower unit. Uh, uh, so
Scooting across the water.
I couldn't imagine. Uh, I couldn't imagine like how. What's this like the stability? Is there a lot of chop when you're planed out like that? I mean, do you get a lot of like the steering chop that you would get on like some bass boats when you get them planed out to where they're lifted up like that to where they kind of rock back and forth, or is it pretty sturdy?
Yeah, the chime walking you're talking about.
Yeah, chime walking.
You're
Yeah.
gonna get that on a modified like padded V. Um, you're gonna get some of that. The trick to that is, and there's a lot of dealers out there and guys, hot rod guys that know how to set them up. And we do the same thing. We balance the boat out. So when we weigh the boat, we weigh it front to back, also side to side. Um, you know, everyone says, well, throw some trim tabs on it and that'll take that out. That doesn't take the chime walk out. When you're running on the pad like that, it's a balancing act. I mean, you're running on the
Yeah.
edge. You're up there. You're as efficient as you can get it out of the water, more boat out of the water. So you're going to run a good steering system in it. I like the UFlex Silver Steer High Performance Series or the Mercury with the AMS mids. You have to run the Mercury HD, the new generation steering pumps and stuff, which is a high performance system. So it's important to do that. It's also important we prop them with the best prop that we can put on the boat for the what the angler's wanting, customers wanting, and some of the new props handle a lot better than some of the older ones did. You know,
Right.
we're a Mercury partner, so we use mostly Mercury parts and stuff. The only time we'll hang other motors is if they ship them to us, and we'll put them on if they're sponsored by Yamaha or Honda or whoever, Suzuki. Um, so Mercury makes a really good selection of propellers. And then also we can tune the skeg. So we put a trim tab basically, or a little aluminum piece on the skeg that's a little wedge shape, and we putty it in so we don't void the warranty and drill the skeg. And we modify that skeg with it's a 545 all grip putty, and it'll stay on in 100 plus mile an hour. You can tune the bottom, you can tune the skeg, and take all that steering torque out. So that boat, when you come off the throttle, or say for instance you're running wide open and the kill cord gets yanked accidentally, you want to make sure the boat's going to settle down without throwing you out or doing some crazy stuff.
Right.
So our boat's very predictable. It's I go out, chop the throttle just to see what it'll do. Testing, turning, high speed turns. When I say high speed turns, running through like the river up in Seminole or whatever, or even over in Leesburg and some of those areas, and run some of those lakes and go around corners and stuff. And you can run through there at 85 plus miles an hour on the pad, and the boat's not going to do anything unpredictable. It handles very well, and that's part of the design of the hull. The whole design is made to made for that.
Yeah, and I mean, to me, just the engineering, design, and thought process to be able to think of all that, and which we were talking earlier, and I mean, you've been around boats your whole life, and with working on them and stuff. So I mean, you're way above what our league is with Pappy and myself. We're just the two flunkies that we just throw a boat in the water and just hammer down. So, so but
Well, a lot of it,
and we'll go let a line and we act like we're fishing. And
Well, no, whoa, wait a minute. You act like you're fishing. I'm fishing. I don't know what you're talking about.
he, Mike, he's fishing. He's not catching.
But I will say this: could you imagine in the Tennessee River going through some of these little creek channels that we got at 85 mile an hour?
Well, how shallow can you run those, Mike?
I mean, sometimes we, especially in your tidal areas when you have flats and stuff, we can run in 6 inches of water. I mean, almost if there's a bird walking, you can go through it. I mean, we're not a tunnel drive, so they'll go shallower. But the way that some of these tournament anglers run them, I mean, they come in. There's no paint on that skeg first time they take it out. They're running some shallow stuff. I don't personally run that shallow. I try to keep my stuff from tearing it up. But if you got to get somewhere and get over it now, the draft is something important too. By building the boats lighter, the way we infuse them with the process too is it keeps the boat light. So some of these boats will float in 10 inches of water, tournament loaded, which is very important in certain areas of the state that you're going to, or down here in Florida anyway, and all around, from basically North Carolina all the way around the state of Florida back over to South Padre. They got a lot of flats up in Texas and Louisiana, and you got Titusville area down here in Florida, and Flamingo, and Punta Gorda. So the draft is really important with the flats guys out there, especially the red fishermen. When they're up there tailing on the flats, those fish go shallow. You got to go shallow.
Yeah. So you can almost run these things almost as shallow as what what we'll see like jet boats and stuff up here running shallow up in the back of creeks and stuff, right?
I think they'll go shallower than what we're running. We're still got a prop on the back, so you're gonna tear some stuff up.
Right.
I think the
Yeah.
jet will still go shallower than us. We used to put these outboard jet drives on the motors. We'd take the gear case off and put these jet drives on the bottom, so it basically took the place of the lower unit, and we had to raise the motors up higher to where they were kind of equal with the bottom, and then you could run some shallow stuff. I mean, unbelievable
I
shallow.
bet.
But it's not as efficient as the prop, so very rarely we see any more of those. I'm not doing that many of those anymore.
Right. Now what is the cure time when you from like let's say from start to finish the boats are ready to go out on the water? What is the time frame on that from when you start to the time it's ready to go out the door?
Takes us about 14 weeks to build one boat, but we build multiple boats at one time. We'll build, 8 to 10 boats. Always are in the shop going in the mold. We leave the boats in the mold as long as we can, to where all the parts and pieces are put in to each part before we pull them. That way, it doesn't distort or it doesn't alter it in any way, shape or form. Um, and then once we, pull it, there's a process of assembly. We actually glass the transom together. So we make it all kind of a one piece boat. We don't screw anything together. We actually glass the whole thing. We glass the bulkheads to the deck. We glass the consoles in. We don't screw the consoles in. And so it takes us a little longer. Some boat companies are quicker with the process, but ours we do multiples at one time. There's phases throughout the process, and there's different group of employees in each division that run each one of those departments.
Right. So it's
Now,
almost like it's a
and that's
unified.
an important thing that you said right there. That the transom. I know. It's been years ago. My brother and I, he had a boat, um, and we started having transom problems out of it. And I quickly learned then that if you don't have a strong structure back there, your boat is not going to operate to its fullest capacity, to what it can do because of the transom. Um, so, have you ever noticed any flexing back there or anything since y'all been doing this on the transom part of it?
I mean, some of the older boats that were produced years ago were developed around the two strokes. So I'm seeing some of the four strokes go on some of the older models. And
Hmm.
yeah, there is some transom flex, but there's ways to beef it up and
Right.
put some bracing in there. Yeah, we do brace the transom a lot. We
Yeah.
actually install a half-inch sheet of aircraft aluminum in the area where that motor is going to get mounted to basically spread that pressure out across
Hmm.
the transom as much as possible. And then we have stringers that have really big knees on them that come up and get glassed all the way to the top of the transom. So that stringer grid that's in our boat, I didn't send you any pictures of that, but the grid in the boat, it acts like almost like a chassis in a drag car. It's making all one unit all the way through the hull. When that's all tied together, that boat doesn't flex side to side, front to back. It's stiff. It stiffens it up big time, and you want that stiffness. You
Yeah.
don't want the boat moving around. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and even with the carbon
Yeah.
fiber, it makes it even more stiff. So the carbon fiber boats not only are lighter, they're stiffer, and kind of like a guitar string, it's tighter.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Now, I do want to talk. We can go back to the boats and stuff, but I do want to talk a little bit about um, your son and fishing and stuff like that. And along with that, I want to talk to you about fishing for kids. Can you kind of explain like a little bit, just like Cliff Note version of like how fishing for kids, which we've had Jerry on and he's talked about it a little bit. But can you talk about fishing for kids and what it's? I mean, it's a brand new tournament trail, and I mean, and you are getting uh, good like reception from fishing for kids. Can you talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, the Kids for Fishing program that we're doing right now.
Kids for fishing.
Yeah, the Kids for Fishing Pro. It's just part of what's been going on out there in the world. I mean, everybody knows that the bass industry is just way bigger than the flats industry, and it's amazing to me what they have now versus what we had growing up. The schools have got the junior division, the high school division, and then it's kind of a platform to get into the college levels to go if you're going to pursue pro level or get into fishing full time. And so they're doing that setup, which we didn't have years ago. So all these kids are in that, which is great. It's awesome. I mean, I put a lot of that on Johnny Morris because he indoctrinated everybody with the little toys that everybody gets now. The bass boat with the Bronco or the truck or whatever. So
Yeah.
all these kids that have got bass fishing on their mind or hunting on their mind, and it's great. I mean, it's just awesome that they could be doing way worse stuff. So we got into that. My son got me into that. I didn't bass fish that much growing up. I mostly water skied and hot rodded around with the boats and stuff. I didn't get into the bass fishing until he came along, and then I saw this platform that Bass Nation had put together. I think it used to be called Bass Federation, and it changed into Bass Nation over the years, and now it's just blown up. They've got such a great program going. Um, each state has a Bass Nation at state level. Then when you qualify for state, and then if you make it through state or whatever, and you qualify for nationals, they have these berths, and the way it's set up, qualifications, or what they call them, berths or whatever. But you can qualify to get into the nationals, and then nationals gets you the colleges looking at you to wherever you want to go, and scholarships and programs and things that are opened up for all these kids that are doing, and it's just unbelievable. And the amount of boats and people that go into each one of these tournament venues. We have
Yeah.
we have Seminole, Leesburg, Placa, Okeechobee, Kissimmee chain. It's just incredible. Some of them I've seen over 200 boats at the tournaments. I mean, we're having to get up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning just so we can get in the line to get in, and then the weigh-ins take 3, 4 hours. I mean, it's just amazing the turnout. So I seen that going on, and then we started to, and he got into that. My son Jax, he got into that, and his partner Eli, um, and so we started doing this Bass Nation, and man, it's just insane. And I'm seeing some flats boats in there. Some of our boats are in a couple of them, not as much as the bass boats with the carpet and stuff like that. But we're working on a new bass boat right now for him and his partner that we've been working on for actually about 2 years. But to build a boat from scratch and kind of starting new molds and it's a process to do. We came out with a bigger boat. We're going to have almost a 23-foot bass boat that we're going to debut in the Bass Nation Tour because of that platform. That platform is like the old Redfish Cup days. I mean, you get out in
Right.
front of so many people that come to these events, and you got grandma, grandpa, mom, and dad, and brothers and sisters and uncles and cousins and stuff that all show up. So they're getting to see all these products and stuff that are out there. So it's really cool. So we're working on this bass boat. We'll hopefully have it done here, and I'm hoping the end of December. So we'll be midway through this year, and then hopefully use it all next year. But it's an all carbon fiber. The first boat's all carbon fiber. It's very light, 250 mercury on the back, and it's going to have some pretty cool features on it and stuff that I've been looking at because I'm the captain, so I can't do anything on the boat. I get to sit there and just drive. That's it. So they tell me where to go, I go, and they call the shots. They tell me what the plan is, and I just press the pedal down and GLH across the water. So we're trying to. I'm trying to make this boat as comfortable for a captain as you possibly can. So there's some comfort things that we put in there that are going to be a little different, and maybe people will look at it and go, "Man, that's crazy. I don't want it," or maybe they'll go, "Man, that's something I'm interested in." So
You're getting the lazy boy with the cup holder right there with you.
they're gonna definitely recline. I promise you that. And it's not just reclining so I can feel better. It's about getting that lure away from me. you know,
Oh, I
that
understand.
tungsten hits
I
you in the mouth
understand.
a few times. That feels really good. And then
Yeah,
that and
you
then that,
learn real quick, don't you?
yeah, that double hook
Yeah.
snatches that hat off your head a few times with some hair in it.
So, but one thing that I really like um, about like these kids, like the youth. I mean, it seems like each year we're seeing like younger and younger kids getting involved, and I really enjoy it because I'd rather see them out on the boat and holding a rod than I'd rather see them holding a PlayStation controller. Um,
Absolutely.
but what I really do enjoy, and we were talking about it earlier, is to see how they have really adapted to the technology now. I mean, these kids are phenomenal fishermen. By the time they get ready to go to fishing high school, to fish in college, when they definitely get to college, they are ready to go. Is how I believe, and how just seeing these kids, um, the experience that they are getting in fishing tournament trails, um, just like with the BASS or MLF and stuff like that, or Bass Nation, and it really has. I believe that has really helped out these kids a whole lot with being able to start them out young, and they're getting into this technology in which the technology now. I mean, these kids are way better at it than what we are, especially with the forward facing sonar. But that's one thing that I really enjoy, is to see how these kids grow up and how they're adapting to this new technology.
Yeah, it's I'm all for the technology. I mean, I know there's a lot of uh, kind of back and forth with it with the forward facing sonar. But I'm like, all right, you guys want to take that away? Let's go back to the canoes with the oars and or paddles, and let's get what'd you drive? What'd you drive here with? Oh, you got a backup camera. Let's get rid of that too. All these things that are out there. I mean, like you and I talked earlier about the seeing how the fish react to different baits is really cool.
Yeah,
At our shop here, we have these ponds and they're real clear. They're like spring fed ponds. And my son, that's what got him into the fishing, bass fishing deal, was he was throwing baits down, watching what they reacted to. You can see them in the water. And then he got into making baits, and then, yada, yada. But the forward facing sonar taught me a lot too, because you're out there and you can see, how they're reacting, what they're doing. You can kind of check their temperature on what they're wanting. Um, so
yeah.
I like the technology. I say keep the technology, in my opinion, because if they take that away, then they take something else away, take something else away, and it just is a never-ending spiral. But all the companies that are putting, engineering, design, patents, development, you can't take that away. I mean, you take that away, it's just going to fall apart. There may be a spinoff and be a trail without the forward-facing sonar, and there may be a trail with it, whatever. I say I won't watch the one without it. I want to see the technology. I want to see the power poles, trolling motors, all the new tech, the stuff that they've come out with, and Humminbird. All these companies are making all these new products. I mean, that's just going to kill it when they do that. But
Well,
and also the kids. I mean, that's the
yeah,
same thing. It's taking it away from them. So I'm learning from them right now. I mean, they're teaching me how to use this Ford sonar when I'm on the boat with Jackson Eli. I mean, they're teaching me things that I'm like I become a way better. I couldn't fish until they started getting where they're at now. Now they're teaching me. I've taken them
yeah.
to so
Well,
far.
Jerry says a great, yeah.
Yeah, and Jerry's
Jerry
taught them a lot
says
too.
a great, yeah. You're right. Jerry says a great mix of fishing against other kids, but also events makes youth anglers a great angler. That I definitely agree with him on that. That is, I've always been told, if you can, because I grew up playing baseball and stuff like that, and every time that I had a chance to be able to play baseball or basketball or whatever, play up and have that tougher competition where I'm elevating my ceiling with being able to have to compete against somebody that's older and bigger and stuff than what I was. Um, always, I ended up learning more out of those events than I did kind of fishing against or playing ball against kids that was my age. So, but I had another question that I totally just forgot.
Well,
Have
it's
you got
always good. It's
anything?
always good. It's always good for these kids to compete against each other.
Yeah,
You
Yeah,
know, there it it there, there's a lot that comes out of being competitive against each other. I mean, you can grow in so many ways, and I really feel like that. Fishing, hunting, whatever sport that interests you the most. If you can be competitive at it and not even really succeed, but if you succeed, obviously that's a bonus. But if you could just be competitive at it, it's going to help you in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
Uh,
the
Yeah.
competition's
that's
good.
always been my thing.
You know,
Yeah.
we like
Oh,
to
I
do.
know what it was. They and it's kind of funny that you had said like they're trying to take technology and stuff away. They're not trying to just take technology. They're trying to just take one thing away. I mean, when when we had Jerry on and we talked about, like the side scan and stuff, when the side scan first came out, everybody's like, that's cheating. That is cheating. Well, now you go and buy a unit. What comes on the unit from the factory? You got side scan comes on. I mean, if and I think what it is just the fact of these tournaments, especially like the older um, anglers and stuff like that, they're not quite picking up on the forward facing. I don't know if I just don't think they're spending as much time with the forward facing sonar. Not the fact that they cannot use it. Um, they a lot of them just choose not to. But
What what
if you're
what what
going
what,
out there
what
and
would
you're fishing
happen?
for $100,000, you and you're getting beat by these 19, 20-year olds that are using forward facing sonar and you're getting spanked every tournament, you better believe that I'm going out there trying to figure out what in the world they're doing and trying to learn as much as I can to be able to compete against them.
Absolutely.
What if we didn't? What if if we did, instead of introducing them to technology right at the rip, let's bring back the old depth finders. Bring in some old topo maps, and let's
Yeah.
learn and teach them, how we can do things, and what things give them a good visual of it through a map and through it. And
Well,
I'm
that's
not
one
talking
thing.
about depth finder
Right.
that's got a scan in there. I'm talking about your depth finders. Your
Yeah.
little bitty
But that's one
4-inch
thing.
hummingbird screen. You know what I mean?
And correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, but that's one thing that Fishing for Kids is doing is they're teaching them different ways to be able to look at. They don't want them to just rely on forward facing sonar. They're wanting them to be able to go out and learn how um to fish shallow and to be able to go and flip on some grass and stuff like that. They're also doing some community service type stuff as well. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, they go out and do a trash day, removing stuff out of the lakes that's been thrown in there or whatever, and clean up and stuff like that.
Right.
And yeah, and then Jerry had some great ideas with the program, which was backing a trailer in. That's one kind of thing, and then trolling
Yeah.
motor skills, learning how to navigate with your trolling motor around obstacles, like a course type thing, and then flipping, skipping underneath docks, those things. I always told Jax, I said, hey, put a blindfold on and hit that bucket over there. Then do it Miyagi style, and he that type of stuff. Yeah. So you can do challenges or
Yeah.
whatever, and get them some coaching type stuff going on to help them with what their the skills of all different things with deep water fishing, tree piles, what baits to use in different applications, and line size rods. I still hear the rod deal with all the kids. Like they didn't have the right rod, or they for what they were using it for, and stuff like that. And there's just so much to the sport. That's one of the things I think why bass is growing. Still with everything, and it's just all these kids are getting into it because it's really unique with all the different tools you have to do it. Or use to do it.
Yeah.
And and if you want to excel in it, you have to be involved in just about all of it. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's where we're at with the technology. It's hard to stay up on it. I'm asking these guys now, the kids, more questions of, hey, what's out there, what's new, what do we need to be looking into, because they're on the cutting edge of what's coming out now. I believe more than anyone else. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they're the
Now I
future.
do have.
So,
I got an off the wall question because the other week I was on the boat and got and enjoyed my time being out with Jerry. But looking at Jerry's rods, I did not see anything that had fluorocarbon. Does any of your rods have fluorocarbon down there?
Yeah, we've got a rod for every single thing. Too many. That's the thing. If anybody can come out with some way of putting the rods down in the boat with making it where you can get them in and out quick and it's not stepping on them all day. I seen that rod rack or whatever they lay in, but yeah, we have mono on half the rods and braid on the other half pretty much. So I mean, we've got 6 pound test rods for the lakes that are deeper and clear, where they're going to use drop shot applications and stuff like that. And then we have like 20 pound mono on some of the glide rods, glide bait rods, for throwing those above the grass or above the piles to get those bigger fish to come up and eat. And that's a whole nother deal. But yeah, there's so many parts to it. You got to have all these different rods and baits and different tips, actions, and stiffnesses and stuff like that. So it's complicated to learn. I'm learning it still. I'm getting it from them. Like I said, they're teaching me. And I'm having to take masking tape and write on the rod what it is and what line size and all that stuff. So I pick up the right rod, or I was
Oh,
put frog rod or spinner bait rod, and
yeah.
so that's all
I
that.
do the exact same thing. Now, excuse me, with being a captain and stuff like that, with Jackson, what has been the most enjoyable part of being a captain for him?
Just seeing them develop and turn it into what, like when we started. Um, I was making a lot of the calls and questioning a lot of their calls, but then as they developed and started to work together, watching the two of them gel together too was really cool.
Yeah,
Automatic picking up stuff without having to be told, or in each of them, they don't even hardly talk; they just know automatically. So it's really cool on that side of things. Um, and then just making calls, watching them make the decisions of what they're going to do and where they got the research from. And I'll ask questions, hey, why are we going here? Or why are we doing that? And they'll be like, hey, you see we got cloud cover today, or we got the water change, or you're fishing Palaka, you got current, tide change, things like that. So that it's cool to watch that, and then also being on the water with your son. I mean, that is just the
yeah,
ultimate thing in life. I mean, me being out there with him is just incredible. I mean, it's just so cool. I fish with him just about every time he goes out. I mean, I'm going to dread the day when he wants to go fish on his own without me. But anyhow, like him out going to Kissimmee this weekend, we're going to go up there and just kind of scout around. And we fish pretty much every weekend together somewhere. My wife goes too sometimes, so it's a family event for us. We only have the one kid, but and he's not into the other sports. He just wants to fish. So it's right up my alley. And
you're in a great part of the country to do that, though.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
but anyway,
Uh,
that's probably the most fun thing is just watching him. A lot of times, even when we're fishing together, and I'm not in a Bass Nation tournament, I'll just sit down and let him fish and just watch him and sit back and just relax and just see what he's doing or go through baits and hand him stuff to try. So it's really fun.
yeah, I
Yeah.
and to me, like for me, it's like having somebody out on the boat with me, or being on the boat with somebody else, and uh, and I get excited, if not more excited, than what they do if they catch their PB or catch a big bass or something like that. I mean, I'm just stoked. I mean, that it makes my day.
Yeah, it's
Um,
weird. It's
I
weird how
wish
you.
that I wish my fishing partner would catch something that would kind of make me happy for him, but
It's
he just
hunting
likes
season.
catching them little dinks.
It's hunting season. I ain't worried about fish right now.
So, but one I want to
If
kind of go
everybody
back.
can hear my bring, let me have my little granddaughter. Boy, she's a hoot. I'm gonna
That's
show
what you've been
everybody.
in the background
I'm
noise.
let me bring my granddaughter. Come here. I'm fixing to introduce my granddaughter. She's been
Your
on
15
one today.
seconds of fame is
Look
over
here.
as soon as she comes. There
Look
she
here.
is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's cute.
Yeah. Yeah, buddy. She
Heck
has been
yeah.
on one today. Her has been fussy and happy and all the emotions together.
Yeah. Well, our viewers just spiked out when she came on. I just let you know. so, um, so Mike, what is how can people like follow you and follow like Lake and Bay if they want to reach out to you? Because you just don't just build boats; you have a shop as well, correct?
Yeah, we have a service center. We have a repair shop where we do fiberglass repair. We do. We just had a Ginu in here with a crushed in valve where you hit a dock, and we get some Sea-Doos in. We repair those. So we're doing all kinds of stuff. Repowers, a lot of mercury repowers. We have a little machine shop that we just bought to add on to the everyday workload here, and trying to get that up and rolling now. And our crew here has
Nice.
been with us for a long time. They um, we've got a good group here, and so we build them custom boats, do the service, repower, all those different things. You got to do all that just to stay alive too. As the ups and downs of this industry, and so
Yeah.
we have a backlog right now. So fortunately, we have some boats to build still till end of next year. Um, Different models are out further than others, but to
Yeah.
get a boat. They start off. Most people find us on social media, or they see one of the boats, they ride in it, they fished out of it. Somebody who already has one. They'll come over to the shop and they'll spec one out, and or over the phone. I've got a guy flying in tomorrow here at Sebring. I got to pick him up, and he's flying in from North Carolina, so up a little by y'all, and he's
Yeah.
wanting to build a 20-foot flats boat because he just didn't want to clean the carpet anymore. And I mean, he's gonna bass fish.
I don't. I
He's
got
not
to do
even-
that to mine right. Yeah. But hey, Pappy, Jerry says, Pappy, it is harder to find small fish in all that big water. So,
You got that right. You got that right.
uh, but we're going to wrap this up. Pappy, we have one, or you want to ask our last question that we ask every week?
Yeah, absolutely. I sure do. So, Mike, if there was one person that you could fish with at any point in time in your life, who would it be with and why?
Man, that's a hard one. I fish with my son pretty much. That's my favorite to fish with. But I have a friend who passed away about a year and a half ago. His name was Rob Wells. He owned Cabbage Key. He taught me a lot about fishing, and I had a couple lake and bays that we built for him. He was a real close friend of mine. Spent a lot of time with him, and missed the hell out of him. But he uh, he taught me a ton. I would love to fish with him again. He was cantankerous as hell, but he taught me a ton. So he was a really cool guy.
Yeah.
But snook and
Right.
redfish, tarpon. He wasn't into bass that much. He was more into the snook. He was a snook fisherman over in Pine Island, Boca Grande area. He owned Cabbage Key over there, a little island with a restaurant on it. And anyhow, he was the main one that really connected with me and got me really into the sport, and showed me that the sky's the limit, to not break the rules, but you got to think outside the box on fishing. And man, he had me renting
That,
helicopters with them and flying around looking for fish, and drones with polarized lenses, and we spent more money pre-fishing for tournaments than we did if you won the whole darn thing. We blew $3,000 in fuel pre-fishing for the tournament, running all over the country over there. But
Yeah.
anyway, he was the most important in my life as far as in the fishing world.
yeah.
Well, and it's always good to have people like that. I mean, it truly is. It truly is. Before you end this, Colin, let me say also, guys, don't forget to email us on our American heroes. Give us the information that they need, family members, friends, veterans, currently serving. We want to push them out because again, after like Colin says every week, without these guys, we can't do it. So,
Yeah.
but we
Even
really
yourself
appreciate.
involved in that too. I mean, but
Say again.
and guys, the email is if you just probably the best email to do is going to be Josh Vaughn at Deck Talk Podcast, and since he's the one that is doing all this, and it was heavy on his heart to do this. If you just email him straight to him, um, that will probably be um, the best way to be able to get it, and he'll message you back and stuff of what exactly that he needs, and because I've slept since the last time he told me what he needs, so I'll probably forget. So, but guys, thank you so much. Next week, let's see.
Yeah, thank
Oh,
y'all for having me, and
no
Oh,
problem, no
absolutely.
problem.
love what y'all are doing.
Next week, though, we have a good buddy of ours coming on, Jason Caldwell with Nose Down Scent. If you are a hunter by any means, this the scents and stuff that he has is phenomenal. Pappy uses it. I'm this going to be an interesting show next week because I kind of get to sit back and let and see Pappy kind of just go off because we're going to be talking more in his wheelhouse with hunting next week. But we do have some interesting people coming on. Uh, and so, especially one that we just got to come on today that I'm really excited about. And we will make an announcement here pretty soon about who that will be. But, guys, thank you for watching. Mike, thank you for coming on, brother.
Thank you again. Yes,
Appreciate
thank
y'all.
you.
We'll have to, we're going to be coming down and to Lake Placid here sometime soon. Um,
Yeah, we'll have to come
and
check you out.
Yep, our
we'll have
shop
to
is
come and check you out, brother.
right there, 15 miles north of Lake Placid, basically on the way to the track from downtown Sebring.
Heck
Heck
yeah,
yeah.
heck yeah.
Yeah, come
Oh,
see us.
your social media. Can you tell us your social media and stuff like that real quick?
Yeah, it's Lake and Bay Boats is our Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and then we have our website, of course, Lake and Bay Boats, and then we have Lake and Bay Marine. Lake and Bay Marine is the company that everything runs under because of the repower center and the service side of things. So that's on Facebook also. You can see all the pictures and descriptions of everything we're doing on there. We try to take as many pictures of the projects that's going on here as we can and post them up. So anyhow,
Yep.
and lakeandbay.com is our website.
Sounds good, guys. And again, I will put all the social media and stuff for them in the description. I was running around like a chicken with his head cut off, and I totally forgot to do it today. But I will get that edit down to where all you're gonna have to do is just click on the description and be able to go check them out. Go look at these boats. These boats are
Yeah,
phenomenal. Look,
absolutely.
um,
Yeah, that's what I
and
was about to say.
and maybe when we come down there, Pappy, we might be able to talk Mike into letting us hop into one and letting us do a little
Hey,
filming and stuff
that's
with
not the. I want to see the mastermind. I mean, all those little all those little hoses and everything. That's what I want to see right there.
Yeah,
I
come
mean,
check it out.
that's
it.
got me intrigued.
But but guys, thank you again. And remember, guys, God loves you as if you are the only person in this world to love. And guys, we will see you next week. And have a blessed one, guys.
Thank y'all.
Thanks again.